Today is August the 19th, 2013 here in Australia. That I have a question for Cosmic Awareness in a moment that is to be presented through Joan in her energizing the question, but the question that I have for Cosmic Awareness is the following. Last night we received an email from a member of RP, Rainbow Phoenix, that informed of a series of planned actions by FEMA in the United States that seems to be an indicator of plans to launch something or to be ready for an event that is due to occur sometime after the 21st of September, specifically the end of September into October, that FEMA is putting out instructions to be prepared for an event along the eastern seaboard, that this event will be of a major portion, that UN troops are being taught English so that they can be prepared for this event when they're put into that area. Goods and supplies are being sent to the area and are to be in place by certain dates. And the indication from reviewing the video clip that was sent to us is that something is on the horizon, something crucial that FEMA know about but are not sharing with the general public at this time. It seemed to be a very serious warning or statement of preparation to an event that is unspecified at this time, and one that seems to indicate that something of major proportion is ready to go down. Now, in light of the information that Awareness has been giving for months, that at the end of September a new beginning will start, that events will be starting to occur that indicate this or that will show that something is indeed happening. It is my request for today's session to get Cosmic Awareness to make comment on what it is perceiving about the alleged event that is proposed or planned or known about by those agencies of the American government that are known as FEMA. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Welcome, Awareness. Thank you for being with us for the Rainbow Phoenix session of August 19, 2013. Will Broinghoff is the interpreter for your messages, Joan Mills as questioner and energizer. The law of light and the law of love have been invoked. Would you please make comment on the interpreter's question concerning the remarks from the retired congressperson concerning the FEMA upcoming actions? Comments, please.
That this awareness is indeed prepared at this time to make comment about the comments that were directed towards the interpreter and his partner and the video clip that was included in the email received. That the email did indeed indicate that the organization known as FEMA is in a stage of preparation for some event that they seem to know about. That upon hearing and viewing the video clip of the preparations of FEMA for the 3rd District, that the energies are very disturbing indeed for those who might hear and see this video, that at the very outset, before launching into further details about the events, that this awareness would remind one and all who either have seen this video clip and the information it contains, or those who are now hearing about this through the commentary of this awareness on this matter, that one and all need to remember not to go into a fear state, not to energize this event, this proposed event, with negative focus and or negative energies. That this awareness, as well as many other sources in recent times, have been discussing the matter of events occurring that will bring about the collapse of the present world system, and that this piece of information that has been released is further proof that the powers that be are indeed on track and are aware of certain events that are ready to occur now, that the planning of these events is coincident with the 9-month period of preparation that this awareness has been discussing for many months now, and that it has been mentioned by this awareness that a new beginning will start at the end of the 9-month period, when a birth occurs, a birth into a new state of consciousness with a new set of rules and laws. But this does not mean that all will be fully participant in this new beginning, for many will be ignorant of this, for it is simply not their soul's purpose or plan to be in a place of awareness and understanding about these times. The soul's purpose and plan for the majority of individuals on this planet at this time is to go into these events blind and ignorant of the truth of the situation. It is their agreement, even with the powers that be, that they are here to have an experience that may include radical events, that may include the demise of the old world order, of that which has governed secretly for so long, that for those who choose to not become informed, not be receptive to the information that is out there, for those whose purpose it is not to be enlightened or aware to a state of consciousness that would help one through these times, that this awareness says it is as it needs to be for those who choose not to be aware and to be open to the great change that is coming. Therefore, the majority of humanity will go through these events to fully participate in them in a manner that is uninformed, unenlightened, and unaware. But it is still the soul's plan and purpose to have this experience, for viewed from the highest perspective, the soul realizes that the individual points of consciousness, the focus personalities that make these choices, choose not to be aware or prepared, are indeed calling forward the experiences that the soul needs for its own reasons in terms of future development and evolution. Therefore, although this may sound harsh and uncaring from this awareness, that it is prepared to leave the many to their destiny, and it does realize, this awareness does realize, that great trauma and destruction may be that which is experienced by the many who may leave the planet in a mass extinction event. That this awareness, therefore, has no further comment at this moment about the many who have chosen for their own soul reasons to stay ignorant and unaware, for it is their choice at the soul level to have the experiences that are about to take place. Rather, this awareness addresses those many who have a willingness to look at these events, who have been in preparation for some time to alterations in the world order, for the demise and collapse of the old regime and the beginnings of that which marks the new regime, the new paradigms of beliefs and expectations that are ready to commence. For those who have been preparing for some time now have known intuitively and instinctively that there are events that are to happen and that they are here to be part of the change over, that this awareness does say, have no fear, that the information contained in the FEMA report, that it is information of possibilities of timelines, that it has always been the plan of the powers that be to keep the masses, ignorant and unaware. But for those who are not ignorant or unaware, who have been anticipating and even preparing for this time, that this notification from FEMA to their different agencies is but an indicator of events that are ready to happen, that many have been looking forward to for some time. What this notification does do to even those who have been preparing for this mass event is to provoke fear and reaction. And it is crucial and essential at this time not to go into fear and reaction, but simply to be the observers to the events that are ready to unfold, to hold the strong belief, even the strong knowing that all will work out, that all will be well, no matter what unfolds. This awareness reminds one and all that you are here to participate in this great unraveling, this great moment in the history not only of humanity, but the soul itself, that each and everyone is a pinpoint of consciousness that is having a physical experience on a third-dimensional dualistic reality, and that this means that as one becomes cognitive of this fact at deep levels, that one will have choice in how they choose to react to such proposed events, such planned events, that one can, even though they have an awareness that there is the time frame involved that will have to do with the demise of the old order, that they still can go to a place of panic, stress, and anxiety because they choose not to fully believe that they are creator beings, that they come from a grand collective consciousness that exceeds the individual pinpoint of consciousness that they are. Yet, as the pinpoint of focus, the pinpoint of consciousness, all relies on the truest understanding that they can change the reality of their experience, that they need not participate with the masses who are here to have certain experiences still required by the soul. For those who understand this and recognize this, there is a great responsibility now to step up to the plate, not to simply quiver in fear and dread of the destruction of one's world, but to recognize that this ending that has so long been spoken of is simply that which is necessary so that which is promised can emerge. That this awareness reminds one and all that many timelines are available to the creative being that they are, that each creator being can choose to fully participate in either the birth and emergence into a new social order, a new reality, or not. That they can choose, despite intellectual understanding of the changes that are coming and the need for these changes, still engage from a third-dimensional, limited and restricted point of view and or belief system. That all have come now to the edge of the cliff, and that humanity itself has come to the edge of the cliff. That, like the lemmings of the Arctic region, one can tumble over the cliff in a mass along with other lemmings who have not looked up, who have only followed those who are ahead as they charge towards the cliff and plummet over it. There is a reason for such mass actions by these small creatures, just as there is reason now why humanity is coming to the edge of the cliff. That if one approaches the edge of the cliff blindly, without stopping to assess the situation, one will simply go over the edge with the many who are here to have such an experience. However, you are not lemmings. You need not follow the masses. You need not tie into proposed events by ones who are desperate to control the situation so that they remain in charge. That it is given to each and every individual the right to stop and look around, to stop and assess, to stop and decide what one's actions will be. For those who are awakening from that mass consciousness that is participating in these events without awareness or understanding, that it is given the right, that the right is given to say no, to make alternate choices, and to direct one's own personal timelines along those timelines that will not be fully affected by the events of the world, be they events that are caused due to the manipulation of the governments and the powers that be, or be they events of an external nature, some mass event that happens to humanity and to Mother Earth. That all are now coming to the edge of the cliff, that 8 months have passed now since the Ascension event of December 21st, 2012, that the completion of this 9-month period is around that period of time spoken of by this awareness, the 21st of September 2013, that individuals now must realize this last month is critical in achieving a state of preparation for the upcoming events. By preparation, this awareness is not referring to the stocking of food and supplies, but rather the internal preparation that has been underway for many months now. That in this internal preparation, the greatest accomplishment is to release and let go all levels of personality that reside in the old regime's way of thinking. This means entrapment in third dimensionality, that many have had and have intellectual curiosity that has provoked deeper search by the individual into the fabric of the soul as it expresses itself in third dimensionality. What this means is that many have felt for a long, long time that they are not fully human beings, that there is something they have sensed within them that indicates the order of things is wrong and inappropriate, that they are here to be part of some change, some evolution of the world and of humanity that will lead to a higher state of being, a higher state of consciousness. But they have their foot still in the camp of third dimensionality, the old order, that there is still trouble for many in letting the old ways go. There are many who are asking, what if? What if those who hold physical reality are correct? What if the powers that be are not intending to do harm? What if that which I believe is fanciful and incorrect? The question of what if, applied to many levels, is of such a nature and such a strength that many are hesitating, many are straddling the fence, many are awaiting events in their surroundings to indicate the direction they need to go, the choices they need to make. But as this awareness has been saying, one makes the choices within before changes occur outside. For those who wait for the changes outside to be evidence that something is happening will find that by the time they have realized something is indeed happening, the boat may have already sailed. That this last month of preparation is a month where the doubts, the questions, the confusion of the journey from a third-dimensional state to fifth-dimensional consciousness must be resolved, at least to the degree that those who know within themselves they are here for the greater change and revolution that is coming, the upheaval and the proceeding into the new reality, that these ones at least come to the point that they are ready enough to take a leap of faith. There are 3 levels that can be achieved when one is in that position of taking the leap of faith. There are 3 types of ways that this can be approached by those who are at least ready to take a leap of faith. One level is that one can be at the edge of the cliff, knowing that it is now time to step out into the unknown and unsupported, to step into that which is the conviction of their inner selves. One can be at a level where there is still some doubt, even though it is known that the leap of faith must be taken. That those who are at that level of questioning still, but do know that the events unfolding around them are the events they have long awaited, may finally step off of the cliff in trepidation and some doubt, but still hold that it is the right thing to do. As in the movie Matrix, the character Neo was in such a position when he was asked to jump from the edge of a building, a high building, and jump to another building some distance away. He was not fully convinced that he could do this, but did at least feel he had to try. Thus, when he jumped, he did not hold the strength of conviction, for he had small doubts within his mind. Yet still he jumped, and the result was that he did fall down to the bottom and hit hard. It did not destroy him. He bounced back, if you will. But at least this one made this leap of faith and survived the consequences. That many may be at this place, at the edge of the cliff, not quite certain if what they believe will prove itself, but they are certain that they must make the leap. For those who make this leap in such a manner, it may be that you have a rough landing, but you will bounce up and learn from the experience and move forward from the experience. Thus, there will be a reward to those, even with doubt and uncertainty, who make the jump, that they will move forward. The next level of choice in the leap of faith is to approach it feeling it is the right thing to do, not quite at a place of total conviction, but not quite as doubting, that a trust is there, that when one steps off the edge, that they will be supported. For those who do it in this way, who have reached this level of understanding, a bridge will appear, a rainbow bridge, and they will be able to cross the chasm. They will reach the other side. The example that would best illustrate this is the Raiders of the Lost Ark, that which was the movie of the search for the Holy Grail, that the character Indiana Jones came to such a situation where there was a chasm between himself and the cave where the Grail was held. That at first he knew not what to do, but he knew he would do something, must do something, and in this movie he spread some sand down in the open space and saw that there was some structure. Yet he too still had to take a chance. He still had to take his leap of faith, for he did not know whether this structure that had been revealed, this bridge, would hold him. But his purpose was strong, and he stepped out onto this bridge and was held and did cross and did claim the Grail. For those who are at this level, that now will come a time that despite any doubt that may be residual, one will still feel strongly that this action is that which must be taken, and one will take the leap of faith. One will reach the other side and proceed onward. The third level of choice that is available is that level where one has truly reached the truest understanding and acceptance of their greater being, of the knowing that they are much, much more than limited and restricted human beings. That for these ones, when it comes time to make the leap of choice, they are not hesitant or afraid, but rather leap boldly and strongly out into the void, and they learn that they can fly, that the joy and love that sustain them is so strong that they are lifted up even higher and cross the chasm and alight at the other side, fully contained and elevated, ascended to new levels of consciousness and preparation for the journey that lies ahead. For they are supported by the winds of spirit, their own being. They are supported by the divine gusts of the breath of God itself. And that this level of choice and realization is the level that is hoped by this awareness that will be achieved in the next several weeks, this next month, this final month of the 9-month process, so that when certain changes come down, that they will not affect the individual's for they have indeed learned to fly and have soared high on the winds of the divine. Returning back to the question about the information that was released about FEMA's activities, this awareness does say it is simply an indicator that events are underway and that it is coming close now to some crunch time, that the many timelines that lead forward are timelines now of choice, and that your choice can be to be in fear and to give your power away and to remain chained to third-dimensional reality, or to fully engage in this event, knowing that one will be fine, one will be sustained, one will be supported in their choices and in their action of this leap of faith. Therefore, the practical advice that this awareness offers at this time is to be open to such information, but do not energize it. Be aware that the indicators are being presented, that events are ready to occur that can be quite monumental, but that you, the individual, and you, the individual who is creating your reality, will be fine, that your choice of timelines will not necessarily need to be difficult at all. Indeed, there are timelines seen by this awareness where those events, those mass events that are being experienced, will be avoided, will be detoured from, that these timelines are those timelines that represent the achievement of those who reach the highest level of trust and acceptance as they come to this period of time collectively where mass events are ready to unfold. That for those who have not quite reached a level of total understanding and acceptance, that their paths still lead them forward, and even though their timelines might include some difficulties, they need not be direct involvement with the events that are unfolding. Therefore, as observers, one continues to observe the unfolding events, and one continues to energize that all will be well, that one is supported by the Divine Spirit itself, that you are Divine Spirit, you are the new humans that are being born, who include the capacity of their spiritual natures in a most active and relevant way. That those who find that the journey will affect them greatly, that the events affect them greatly, are still reminded that despite whatever difficulties and upheavals one experiences, it is still illusionary, that one makes the events real by endorsing them and energizing them. Thus, as events unfold in the time ahead, even though one is being somewhat affected, or largely affected even, hold to this thought, this knowing that all will be well. One will go through the dissolution of that which is, and be thus present to the birth of that which will be. That this information that has been released as the plans of FEMA, the proposals of this organization, are for those who can see it this way, simply an indicator that the events so long prophesied and predicted and spoken about are truly beginning to unfold, but that one still has a choice as to how one will respond and react. By having this information in advance, one can prepare themselves fully and completely on all levels, including the physical level, but more the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual levels. That this awareness will have more to say on this matter and on the matters that are unfolding in the weeks ahead. But for now, it simply wishes to restate the original statement. Be not in fear. Do not energize these events. Be aware that things are coming together, the very things in a way that you have long anticipated and waited for, that there will be upheaval, but it is not necessarily that upheaval is a bad thing. It is simply that which is, so that which will be can be born. Remember also and always that the breath of God itself supports you and will not let you fall if that which is the trust and belief in your God nature is strong and resolute. That even if it is not strong and resolute, but is there to a degree, that you will still find your way forward, that you will still be supported in the events and occurrences that lie ahead, that there are many, many, many timelines that will participate in these events and be at the effect of them. It is your responsibility to choose those timelines also available that will not be at the effect of the control and manipulation of third-dimensional reality that so many tie into and buy into. That you are a sovereign being, a God spark, and that as that sovereign being, that God spark, it is within your capacity and capability to create the timeline that best suits you in the journey ahead, in the creation of the life experience that you are having and will have. And continuing, that this awareness did speak of that which is seen by those powers that be in the reading of timelines, that events will occur in that region where FEMA is proposing to be active. It has learnt from the experiences of New Orleans and other events of recent times, and therefore does have the capacity to prepare itself in advance so that it will be able to maintain control in areas where great events will occur that could create a backlash by the populace, as this awareness has mentioned. They used New Orleans and Katrina as a testing ground and learned much, so that they are prepared even more for the events in the areas where they are massing their troops and sending their supplies. Having said this awareness again reiterates that while it is seen that it is time for events to occur that will bring to conclusion this current age, it does not mean that all must suffer through these changes. All must be destroyed and traumatized by these changes, especially if one has come to understand that the events around them are events that can be sidestepped, that can be avoided by choice. And the choice that one can make, that this awareness suggests, is that you do not energize the events that you see on the 9 o'clock news or read about in the paper. That no matter what is occurring, that you hold that you and those who are part of your creation of life experience, this being your family and friends, will all be safe. This is an important part of this scenario of choice, of choosing the highest degree of possibilities that does not buy into the scenarios of the manipulators. You, as a creator being, can create your reality to include loved ones. This does not ensure that everyone will partake in your creation, but that this awareness does remind all that if you are a creator being, and if it is that you create in awareness and in alignment with spirit, a reality whereby your family are safe, your loved ones are secure, that the world will be okay, that your experiences will reflect this. Those who would have need to create their own reality may do so, and it may be that even though in your creation that all will be well, because you are also to a degree co-creating with others, there may be those who choose to have other experiences than the one you are creating. Thus, in the end, even though each individual is the creator being, there must always be an alignment to greater spirit, great spirit, the divine, that there must be alignment to the souls of each and every one involved in the co-creation, and realization that if there are those who choose to have their own unique experiences, even if they are harsh and hard, that it is their right to have those experiences. Thus, in the creation of one's life, there must also be the allowance that those who do not wish to participate to one degree or another are allowed their sovereignty, are allowed their choice, that you can simply create energetically through wish and intent and imagination the possibility that others can join you and be safe, that those who have strength in their power to realize that ultimately each creates their own individual reality, that they will see and know that when certain ones do not participate, it too is part of the greater creation of their own spirit and the spirit of the other or others. It is still in alignment with the purpose of the divine. This awareness realizes it has become somewhat sidetracked here, but it does wish to state that as the Creator being in alignment with others who are part of the creation, part of your creation, part of the divine creation, that a way forward can be found where all are satisfied, all have the capacity to create that which the soul requires and needs, that is in alignment with divine purpose and plan. Simply focus on that which is your recognition of your timeline, and know that those who would participate with this creation will do so, and you have energized this as the possibility, but have allowance and tolerance for deviation of each individual in the co-creation. That finally, in the matter of the question presented by the Energizer at the beginning of this topic, is this a singular event only to occur in the United States of America or global events? That this awareness does say that it may commence in that area of the United States, but it will not be confined only to that area or region. That it is not that it is seen that all other global events will occur simultaneously. It is seen somewhat that the events in that region may be the catalyst for other changes that occur globally, may be the beginning of the wave of changes. Other events may occur at a similar time, others will follow. But the point here that this awareness is making, no matter where one is located in the world, the changes that have long been awaited are ready to commence. There is an agenda behind these events that is not only the agenda of FEMA and the powers that be, but the agenda of God itself in its total capacity, that all have been underway for some time to reach this point in time, this crucial crossroads in time, and that all are arriving at the edge of the cliff. The choices made now will determine the direction of further experiences in third dimensionality for one and all. Choose well and know that you are much, much more than slaves, much, much more than manipulated victims who have no choice in matters. That the gift of God itself is to help you realize your sovereignty of being, that you are part of the greater levels of consciousness, that you are part of the divine consciousness, and that you are sparks of God itself. That this completes the answering to this question at this time.
Pardon me. Thank you very much, Awareness. This was very, very insightful and appreciated. The membership will be pleased. Thank you.
This awareness would say here that it is not the intent to please the membership, although this awareness does accept your sentiments and does understand where you are coming from. The reason this awareness says it is not the intent to please the membership is because the membership itself, each and every individual of the membership, is a divine expression of the Godhead, is a divine expression of spirit, that they can please themselves. And that while this awareness is honored, that it is serving the many, It does recognize the sovereignty of each and every individual. It does recognize that many are not pleased with the messages of this awareness, but that those who have worked hard on their inner being, their inner connection, those who have that greater capacity of understanding and awareness, will indeed be pleased to whatever degree by the messages of this awareness. Ultimately, though, even with the messages and the energies of this awareness, each individual is sovereign in their being and has the right to choose whatever experience that they wish to have, whether they are warned in advance and explanation given to what is unfolding or not. That this awareness simply is providing service, as each and every one who are here at this crucial time can also do. That many know that they are here for a purpose, the purpose of holding space, the purpose of being of service to the divine. But ultimately, the truest purpose is to grow and evolve beyond that limited state of consciousness that they have found themselves in for so long, into the new expansion of their being that is ready now to emerge. That this awareness is pleased to be of service at this time.
Thank you. As we all are understanding what is at stake, and I do thank you.
And that this awareness gratefully receives your gratitude and thanks.